Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back on the dev server for Update Spearhead, and guess what? There's been another update to it, so I thought we'll go through some of the things that have changed for it and see what's kind of going on. As always, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. The first change is to the Hawk 200. You can see it's no longer popping a wheelie, instead the RDA is, and therefore it's enjoying a bit of the fun. Now, the RDA has its camo. I think it looks generally quite nice. The general bicolor setup is really good, and then also on top of this they have actually changed the flight model of the Hawk 200. I saw a lot of people saying that the Hawk 200s don't really actually fit what they were in real life. Well, they've completely altered the elevator, and they've just completely altered the flight model in general, so they probably still now should feel a little bit closer to reality. Another thing to also mention is the Hawk 200 RDA, I think, has all of its loadouts now, so you have 6 hardpoints. You can either bring 6 AIM-9Ls or 4 AIM-9Ls and 2 Sky Flashes, and then also you have access to the MBDA Sea Eagle, and also you have the AGM-65Bs, which is quite good, plus a bunch of rockets or bombs if you want to, but I think mainly people are going to run the 2 Sky Flashes, 4 AIM-9Ls, but just remember, this thing doesn't have any guns, so it is kind of unfortunate in that way. It just has the really powerful radar for the F-16. There is also a new vehicle that they've added. This is the HMS Centurion, which is coming in for Britain. And basically, what this is a World War I battleship. You can see it's part of the King George V class, and also in the tech tree itself, you can see it between the Colossus and also the Rodney. So it's another 6.7 one. It has access to the 5 dual-mounted 13.5-inch guns, 2 in the front, 2 on the back, and then also 1 right here. And it also has these 2 like kind of humps on it on each of the sides, where it houses some 102mm. You can see it has 16 of them, and it has some on the side, some at the top here, and then also some over here. I actually really enjoy the configuration of these guns. Kind of reminds me for some reason of like a Warhammer battle wagon or something similar to that, where it just has guns just popping out all over the place. So here's the standard modifications for it. Nothing too crazy. It does have some torpedoes, but they're not really useful. And it also gets the APC-BC for the 13.5s, plus the CP-BC2. The 102s get the HE and the SAP, just to show you as well. So yeah, it's just another standard World War I battleship with some armor on it. So you can also see that they've actually modeled the armor pretty well and done all of the individual parts. Has a belt of 304, turrets of 279, and ammo elevators of 254. So yeah, pretty cool. If you're interested in these types of machines, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one. Another change to British vehicles as well. The Mosquito B Mark 16, this one right here. They have finally changed it from a GE vehicle to a Squadron vehicle, and at the moment it's 170,000 RP for a Squadron vehicle, which to be honest is quite low, but then again it is a rank 3 and also a battle rating 3.0. They've also changed the actual kind of flight model of this one too. There's been a lot of flight model changes in this update, so don't be too surprised if things move around the place. But yeah, so it's going to be a very good bomber at getting a cookie into the battle and getting out, and I think that's one of the most important things. Talking about tech tree changes, we've already talked about a lot of them, which are moving around. So there is another one that they've added though. You know the M55s? Well, now they're folded with the M44s. If your tech tree has an M55 and M44, they're going to be folded together. So that's the American one, and if you have a look at the French tech tree, you also see it here. So this means that the M55 will be less to research to get access to the vehicle, but remember, it doesn't actually change modification cost, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Some people have been asking about the LVT A1M24 and about its armor. Well, finally, they've actually modeled it. So you can see here, it has the LVT A1 or the LVT armor, which is only 6.35 millimeters, so it's not really going to be able to stop anything. And then also, you have the 25.4 millimeters of chaffee armor on the sides and a little bit on the front. So the vehicle feels pretty well modeled now. Everything's pretty much done on it. And even like the camo looks pretty similar compared to the two. So no more 500 millimeters of armor on this kind of silly machine. The F-16AM has also been changed a little bit. So number one, they added crew MVD to the vehicle. So that means that you'll be able to see it nice. And also they added some more modifications for different armaments. So some of these were already in, but one of the cool ones is you get the guided bombs, of course, which are really nice with the sniper targeting pod, but then also you get the penguins. So these are here too. These are just all of the general armaments that are there that you'll be able to use. It just has a mixture of everything. It's a very modern F-16, I think a early 2000s F-16. So yeah, it should be quite good. Another thing to also mention is they added 120 countermeasures to this thing. So it should be able to survive a lot of missiles as they come in. Another cool thing, so you know how the Hawk 200s are getting access to the Sea Eagle? Well, there are a few other vehicles in the game which are also getting access to the Sea Eagle too as it comes along. And one of them, which really needs some help, is the Buccaneer. The Buccaneer S2B is getting access to the Sea Eagle too. So this one already had the AJ-168, which are the TV-guided missiles, which use the data link pod. But now it will get access to the Sea Eagle, which was basically just the improvement of it over the time. So I think that's actually really cool and really nice to actually see that. Another change is to the SU-17s and SU-22s. So the SU-17M4, the SU-22M4, and then the M4 Premium that also exists, they're getting slightly more countermeasures. So instead of 256, they're going to get 384, which will be kind of flying out over these ones, which I think will actually be really nice on the vehicle. Also, the Tornado GR Mark 1, which you will find in the British tech tree once again, this one right here. This one's also getting access to Sea Eagles. So you can use Sea Eagles on this one if you want to, but I feel like most people are just going to stick with the guided bombs, but at least you can have a bit of fun with these good old Sea Eagles. They also changed some of the radars, and this is actually quite a big one. So they're the Sky Guardian 200, which is the RWR, which is on not just this vehicle, the Hawk 200, but also the AV-8S and the AV-8S Late. You won't be able to actually identify specific machines anymore, so you won't be able to actually tell what's going after you, and that kind of sucks. And you got to be a bit careful now and use the eyes a little bit more, trying to see what targets are trying to go after you. Then we have some ground changes, and there's quite a lot of them, and generally they're all pretty positive. Number one is actually for Turkey, which is pretty cool. You know, the M60 AMBT, this big boy that is over here. So they've actually changed a few different parts of this. They've added the turret hydraulics to this, which isn't always great because it basically means when the hydraulics get taken out, your turret won't be able to move. So that's a bit of a nerf. But they've buffed the rotation speed of the gun to 45 degrees instead of 40 degrees, which is really cool. And the first stage is now up to 15 pieces from 10. Now, this thing is based on an M60, so at the BR that it's at, if you get penned, you die anyway. So having the ammo here instead of like in a standard place here on the M60 is actually a lot better. Even if it is 15 pieces. I actually think that's really, really good that they've added that in. The Boxer is also getting a target tracker, just to let you know. They keep adding more and more stuff to the Boxer. And then also, another change has come in for the BTR 82AT. So first of all, the hull slat armor, which is here, they've improved it. So before it was 1mm of structural steel, now it is 6mm of HHRHA. So I'm guessing high hardness rolled armor, as you can see here. And that means that it will actually give some armor on angles. So you can see from this one, 7mm. Over here, it can maybe go up to like 30mm. So yeah, it just gives you that extra piece of armor, which is there. Another part of it is the 9M133. We already talked about that they added another missile to this, but they've actually finally added the thing, which makes this a lot better than it would be previously. So if you didn't know, there are certain vehicles in the game that have access to a really cool sight, and it's basically to do with the ATGM. So if you have a look at sights in controls for ground, you can see that you have all of these wonderful ones, and that's not what I was going for, but you have this one here, select special weapon or ATGM, right? So what this means is you can actually just select that, and then you can actually use the sight from it, which is above everything else. So now you'll actually be able to hit stuff from that high point. And that actually is really awesome. You can see here that we are just controlling the ATGM and nothing else. And that means that if you actually put this vehicle behind a hill, you can actually use these ATGMs by themselves and go down. Unfortunately, the sight isn't lined up with the ATGM yet, but it will be in the future. And that actually adds just an extra layer to this vehicle, because it means that the commander sight, you know, it's technically pretty high. And then also at the same time, you'll be able to hide this whole vehicle behind a thing. And if you can't overpressure it through the missile, then it's going to be incredibly survivable and very obnoxious to actually play once they actually, you know, line it up properly. So yeah, that's pretty cool, and should generally be quite fun. You also have, you can actually still fire the ATGM from the standard one as well. So if you want to use that, you can do too. It's a tandem warhead ATGM, so it should be pretty good. So yeah, that one's really nice. They've also reduced the gunner thermal on it, so it's a low resolution. They've changed the commanders, so it's an NVD and not a thermal now. And then also they reduced the driver NVD too. So basically they reduced the optics, but it still should be fine. Generally should be good. They also changed a few things on the Chieftain 900. So they added a little bit of armor and took away a little bit of armor on the vehicle itself. So the turret ring, which you can't really see here, basically it is now 50 instead of 40 millimeters, which is really nice. They also added some RHA in the vehicle. You can see the 5 millimeters here. And then also they added some structural steel in it as well, so improving it. And at the same time, the engine deck, which is actually quite important on these vehicles, they've actually reduced. So instead of it being 13, it's now 10 millimeters. So things can top down you quite easily in this. The actual 25 millimeters on the turret is quite nice, but yeah, this area back here of only 10 millimeters means your engine's going to get taken out a lot. They've also changed the engine sound to the Leopard 1, and I think generally that's actually quite good and nice to see. They've also added shell ejection to the CM34 as just kind of like an addition, so you'll be able to see the plinky plonks come out, which I think is really nice. The Jaguar as well has been changed slightly, not a huge amount, but you can now hide the actual additional armor, so you can see what's inside. And then also the last 4 ammo didn't actually exist in the ammo rack, but now they do. So everything now is in the ammo rack for this vehicle. It seems pretty much ready to go, you know, with the additional missiles, with the changes to the APFSDS. I'm sure people aren't going to be happy with it, but overall, you know, at least it's better than it was. The Oregon City, its armor got changed a lot. Little pieces here and there, moving around by 2 or 5 millimeters. It's not going to make a huge difference to the vehicle, but just understand when we had a look at it before, the armor might be a little bit different when it comes to the dev server. And also, at the same time, the SU-30 MK2 got changed slightly. The engine on it got moved around. So instead of it being the AL31FP, it is now the AL31F, which means that it's slightly lighter by 50 kilos. But apart from that, not a huge change to the vehicle itself. There's a few sensor changes and a few like little economy changes here and there, but nothing too crazy to actually go through. And that's pretty much all the changes from the dev server over the last little period. One thing I do actually want to check, because maybe they added it in, the XF5U actually had access to some new camos. No, there isn't. But if you go on the live server, you can see that it has a silver camo, and I think its special camo it's going to get is a yellow camo too. So make sure to check those out. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.